Hello everybody and welcome back. We are here for the first week challenge for August. This month I have released 2 kits and normally when I release a single kit in the month I have some freebies that link to that kit and a series of challenges. Obviously because I've now got 2 I've had to run the challenges slightly different. They do link as best as I can to both of the kits, but obviously one's quite shabby and neutral, the other one's more grungy. So I have done a little bit of mixing and matching. I also normally name my challenges after the kit, but again, because I've got 2, I've had to do it slightly different. So this week, the hashtag that we're going to use is Nonstop Papercrafts August TN, because we're doing a traveller's notebook size journal. And these are your week 1 freebies. So I'll share the freebies with you first, and then I'll talk about the challenge. So you've got 4 pages for this one. So the first page actually goes up this way because you're going to have 2 tall strips that we're going to make into something. And then we've got some fussy cuts up at the top. So we've got a kind of layered tag going on here. We've got a frame there and a butterfly. You also get this page here, which again just has some fussy cuts around the edges and then some kind of scrappier paper down the bottom. So this is where I've kind of tried to make it suit both kits. You've got the middle one that's like really grungy, so I would go with a pretty grungy kit. This one I've added in more pinks and more whites, so this one would go with the Shabby Elegance. And then I've got one that's a little bit grungy but also is pale enough that it would fit in with the Shabby Elegance. And I've got some tabs. Again, this one's quite grungy. This one's to go with the Shabby Elegance, and then this one's kind of a bit in between. It's got some grungy colours, but it also has some of the laces and things as well. And then again, like I said, we've got florals and different bits and pieces up the top as well. So they're the 2 main pages. Then to go alongside those, I have some backing pages. Now, because this particular page is landscape, the first backing page is landscape as well. So it's some lined paper, it has a slight overlay to it, and then again some lace pieces up the side. Again, a little bit of grunge to it, so it could be used within the pretty grungy kit, but it's also pale enough and has some of kind of the lace and things that it could be for the Shabby Elegance as well. And because this one is a tall page, you've got the same backing sheet but this time in a vertical orientation. So again, you've got the strips of layered paper and lace down the side, which fits in nicely with the Shabby Elegance, but you've kind of got the grungy overlay bits as well, which fit in nicely obviously with the pretty grungy kit. So they're the 4 pages. You can grab these pages in my Facebook group or on my Ko-fi page, depending on obviously which way you like to access the freebies. Now I'm going to quickly pause the video, it'll be a moment for you. And I'm going to cut everything out and then we will get on with the first challenge. Right, okay, so that's everything all cut out. The only ones I didn't cut out were those 3 blank labels, but you know, I can use those in a project another time. To get the kind of jagged edge on the bottom of these smaller pieces, I mean, I did have a jagged edge on the printout, so you can just follow that edge. I actually have these scissors, which I use to create mine just because it's easier. Or if you have like a Cricut machine or something, obviously you can get that to cut it out as well. Or you can just cut straight along if you don't want a jagged edge at all. So we are going to be making a matchbook style notebook, which is why we've got these longer pieces here, and then we've got some papers and things to go inside. I am going to be adding some other papers, and then we've got some bits to decorate. So I'm just going to split these up because, like I said, some of them are better for the grungy, and some of them are better for the Shabby Elegance one. So that was for the Shabby Elegance, and then I think I'll have those. So we've got 3 for each. 3 for the Shabby Elegance and 3 for the grungy. And then, as I said, I'm going to mix in my other papers as well. So I'll show you how to make the base, and I think I'll start with my Shabby Elegance one. So at the bottom you'll notice that there's a kind of wider bit here. That is going to be the lip at the bottom. So straight away I'm just going to fold that up until I start seeing that jagged edge. I mean, you can obviously fold it smaller if you want to. It's entirely up to you. So at the bottom it kind of comes to the end of where that page is. I'm then going to fold this down, and I want to come just past where obviously we've got this top part of here. So I'll kind of do it to the side, then you can see. So I don't know how much that is, maybe 1/4 of an inch thereabouts, and then I'm just going to put a fold in there, and then that's going to be the bit that comes over the top. So as you can see, it's just slightly overlapping, because in a moment that bit will be the bit that tucks it in there, and then that will hold our booklet closed. Now you don't want to do too much of a firm crease, because obviously you're going to have papers in here and you want to be able to get them in without this expanding too much and then exploding out. So that's my Shabby Elegance one. I'm going to do the same then for this one, and we'll kind of do them together. So again, just folding that up, and then it should be roughly, yep, where the end of the page is. Again, I'm just going to fold this over until I'm a little bit sort of past where that is, and give it a fold. Okay, so there, oh actually pretty close. So that's my 2 Matchbook templates done already. So now it's just about putting the papers in. So this one was for the Shabby Elegance, this one's for the grungy one. I've obviously got lots of elements here that I'll have a look at in just a moment, but now I want to gather some other papers. Okay, so obviously I've got these pieces and they have got lined papers on the back. I've also got some book page, I've got a couple of doilies. I thought that one would be quite nice for the Shabby Elegance. I've got this tea stained one that might be nice for the grungy one. And then I've got a couple of old sort of planner pages. One's quite grungy and tea stained, and the other one not, so that can go in the Shabby Elegance. Or I might swap it around actually just to make it a little bit different. Who knows? So let's just put those to the side for a second. Because what I might do is maybe flip that one over so we've got some lined paper, and maybe flip that one over so we've got some lined paper as well. I'm just going to move that up there so we can focus on these parts. So at the moment I've got those 3 and those 3. So we want to get the doily in there. That one's quite pretty, so that one might actually go on top. So this one I might fold there and just give that a trim. Let's just check how wide this is. I'm going to trim up that bit as well. Okay, so I've got 2 bits of doily for that one. I've got the heart shape for that. As I said, I have some book page. So, I mean, I really like this bit, so I think I'm probably going to keep that. Again, looking at roughly how tall, sorry, not tall, how wide the booklet is. We want it about that wide. But now I do want to look at height, because I obviously don't want to come too much past here. So about there. So that's those, and then I've got this one. So I'm thinking I might just tear down the middle. And then fold up. Although looking at this, I could possibly tear it in half. Yeah, and then I've got 2 pieces. Okay, so that goes with that one. I'm going to do the same for this one. And obviously you can use whatever papers you have. You can have scrapbook papers, more note paper if you wish to. Okay, so we're going to use those. Obviously you don't want to make it too thick though. That's the only thing you've got to think about really, is that you don't want to overload it too much, otherwise you're not going to be able to close it. I am just going to get some lined paper as well. Okay, so I've got this vintage handwriting paper, so I think I'm going to use some of that. Oops, kind of went out a bit at the bottom. So if I tear it along there, and then I can always use this one over this side, but just obviously tear off where it kind of flared out at the end. Something like that. And then we'll do one more strip. Oops. There we go. Again, just going to roughly fold it in half. And that's where we'll go. Right, okay, so let's start putting these together then. So I'll do this one first. So I think I might have some book page and the calendar, some of this writing paper, maybe a bit of doily. Actually, I might have that doily at the front. Just swapping that over because I like this package, so I kind of want to keep that. I've got to keep an eye on how wide this is. I mean, it's okay if it sticks out a little bit, I guess. It's more the bottom, it can't hang over too much at the bottom. So I might even have to trim these down a little bit because look how close they are to the bottom. Or I might just fold them over at the top. Yeah, I might do that. I'm going to pull that down slightly. What else have we got? So let's have some of these papers in there. And another calendar page. Another one of those. A bit more handwriting, although I do want to just tear down this edge a little bit. And this one on top. And then this one there. But I needed to trim off the top a little bit, didn't I? So I'm just going to grab my scissors and I'm guesstimating, just holding it together and snipping off at the top like that. Okay, then this is going to go in the top here. Now obviously you can sew along the top if you want to. I would, if you're going to sew, open it up and then sew along. I'm actually just going to staple mine. As you can see, I have got doily sticking out. That's absolutely fine. I have one of these staplers where it can switch round, just so you can do reach in to projects like this. Just making sure I've got it below the fold. Yeah. So Yeah, these are really, really great because it means that I can reach in, because I've got nothing here to get in the way. Because normally if you're doing this way with a normal stapler, you can obviously only go in as far as the back of the stapler. Whereas because this swivels round, it gives me some more options. Oh, and I've run out of staples. Right, hang on a sec. Let's go and refill that. Okay, and then try that again. So it's about there. Just going to make sure all my papers are together and they fit. I've got enough space down at the bottom to be able to put my staple down the bottom as well. Might just move that doily in slightly so it's not poking out quite so much. That's a bit better. Right, let's try that again. So I'm going to bring that round and staple. And staple. So I've got 2 staples up at the top, but that comes down there. Right, the next staple I'm going to do is here at the bottom. So I'm just going to lay everything on top just so I can see where I'm stapling, because I want to bring my staple up to just under where those papers are. So I can put my stapler in the normal position this time, and I'm just going to come up and staple it roughly in the middle, but just underneath where those papers are. Yeah, and then that will just keep that a little bit more sturdy, and then that just tucks in under there, and that keeps your matchbook closed. And then you have a little matchbook notebook. It's like a scrappy pad as well, but you can make some notes in there, and that's it essentially done. But obviously we want to add a bit more to it than that, so now's the chance to decorate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make up the shabby one, and then we'll come back and do some decorating. Right, okay, so that's both of them done. One thing I did with this one before I stapled it down is I actually did a little decorative corner. So I know it's not terribly easy to see, but there is a decorative corner there. So that is an option as well. Right, so now for decorating. So let's just grab some pieces here. So this one obviously has a really lovely frame which could be fitted on the front. I mean, you could obviously also decorate the back. You have the opportunity to perhaps do some writing on the back as well if it's something you're going to just put into your journal. If you're going to obviously stick it to the page, then you don't have to worry about decorating the back, and then you can just focus on the front. But we've got a little frame here. We've got a tag that has a flower that could possibly go somewhere. And obviously we've got all of our little labels. We've also got a tab that might be quite cute, maybe sticking on the side, or it can go on the pages on the inside. This one has obviously lots of text on it, so you could possibly have that attached. I think I quite like that one actually. Just a bit more of a contrast. Yeah, and then it's just about decorating. So you can obviously use bits from the main kit as well. But because we're doing Traveller's Notebook size, I have made these half the size of an A4. So these are the same sort of width as a Traveller's Notebook as well, which will fit nicely with your journal if you are making one. Just thinking where I want the tab. Do I want it up the side, or do I want it here? I think I want it there. But I think I might also want some lace. So I'm just going to, I think, get things in place, and then I'll decide. I think I want him on there somewhere. And I've got this lovely butterfly. Now I've got it in 2 sizes actually, so we could possibly have that on there. This I think I might have on here. This could potentially be a pocket, couldn't it? I could stick this on here, and then I've got a pocket for other bits as well. Yes, I think I might do that. That's a nice idea. Again, I've got some lace that I might put on the front here as well. Right, okay, let's grab some lace and bits. So I've got this lace here, which I was thinking might be quite nice. I mean, I know I'm then going to be covering that, aren't I? So I could have it hanging a little bit, I guess. Doesn't matter if it's hanging over a little bit. And maybe that flower in the centre, and then it covers up that paper clip as well. So I could do that. Let's just trim you. Yeah, I think I might do that. I'm just going to put glue all down the bottom underneath where I've done those decorative corners. Whoops. And then pop this down. I never know if this has a particular way of going, so I'm just going to stick it down. And hope that it's in the right spot. And this I'm just going to give a slight ink. Obviously this is, I'm using Vintage Photo, which isn't quite as dark. But it just gives it a bit of an edge while it's on here. As I said, that could just cover up that staple. Yeah, and then this I think I will make into a pocket. And again, like I said, if you're not sticking it into a journal, you could potentially put the pocket on the back. That will then cover up that staple. That might be a good idea actually. Yep, let's do that instead. If you're not going to do that, obviously if it's going to get stuck on a page it doesn't matter, but if you do want to journal something, you can also use washi tape on the back as well. So I'm just going to stick that down. The staple's right here, so I've put it right at the bottom of where my pocket's going to be, so at least if I put stuff in the pocket, it's not going to get caught on the staple as such, because that's where the glue is down at the bottom anyway. Okay, so that's a pocket, and that could possibly have this in. So that can go in there. Do we want anything else added on there? Because we have got some labels. That's a nice little label. Let's put that on there. Okay, right, so back onto this side again. We've got this, which can perhaps go somewhere. Oh, I don't know now. Right, I'm going to leave that one for a minute. Yep, I'm going to leave that one for a minute. Otherwise I'm just going to be here forever just fiddling. Right, looking at this one then. I have this bit of crochet lace trim. I also have some of this which is like a faux leather. So I'm thinking I might have a strip of this and a strip of that together on here. So yeah, let me just cut up here. Now, I am just eyeballing the thickness. I have no idea if this is straight or anything. About there. Just straightening up those edges a little bit. Right, that'll do. So I could have that along there with that along there as well. To about there. Right, then Now this glue does dry clear, so it doesn't matter if you can see glue through it at the moment. I'm just going to hold it in place for a second. Okay, before I add it to this, I'm just going to put it to the side to dry for a moment. This glue is quite quick drying, so it shouldn't take too long. So I'm going to put that up there. I'm going to put my block on it just to kind of weigh it down a little bit. Right, so I'm going to attach this here. So a little bit of glue down the bottom. And that's going to go on there. And then it's just about what else I want on here. Yeah, so I'm going to stick him down. So he's going to go about there. And then whoops, my goodness. This is going to go about there, and then I'm going to have my butterfly in the middle. And I'm only going to put glue in the middle just so the edge of the wings can fold up slightly. Obviously totally optional, you don't want it too bulky because obviously if it is going into a journal, yeah, you don't want that coming off. Right, how's this doing? Yeah, as I said, that doesn't take too long to dry. Right, I think I'm going to put that down the bottom again to cover up that staple. Okay, awesome. Right, so I'm going to let that one dry for a second. Let's come back to this one. Oh my giddy aunt. Right, okay, so maybe something like that. I mean, these are quite dark colours, and obviously this one's supposed to be a bit brighter, isn't it? I've also got this one. Then we've got like still flowers but different shapes, so I don't know. I think I'm going to leave the front of that plain. What I am going to do though is open up. I'm going to round these corners. Okay, so I'm just going to round these corners and I'm going to do a 7, I think. Yeah. And then in here is where I might add my butterfly. And again, I think I'm just going to put some glue in the middle. And then let the edges of the wings kind of flip up a little bit. Like so. What else have we got? And we've got some labels. I've still got this flower, but I've obviously got that flower there, so I don't want to yeah, do too much. So I think I might leave that. Obviously we've got that pocket on the back with those. Right, let's have another look at this one then. So this opens again. I'm going to just round those corners. Going to see if I can try and round that one. Oh, a little bit. Okay, so in here, do I want anything? I could put that tab on there, couldn't I? Would that look weird? Yeah, that might look a bit weird. What else have we got? What else have we got? So I've got 2 spare tabs. Got this, which I could have hanging off. Yeah. I'm just going to have it on half. So it's hanging off a little bit. So it's a bit like a tab. But I just think the shape of this works better with the doily. So that's going to go there. Then obviously we've got the doily, we've got all our different pages. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so they're my 2 matchbook style notebooks, and I think they look super pretty. Lots of little bits inside, but obviously still nice and thin that it can fit inside a journal. Nice little pocket on the back. Lots of room for writing. You could write on the front, you could write on the back. And then obviously you've got all of those papers inside as well. But yeah, hopefully a nice fun little project. Remember, when you are making these, when you are posting them, that you are using the hashtag, which is nonstop papercrafts August TN. So for Traveller's Notebook. So that's the hashtag that you need to use. At the end of the month, I will do a prize drawing for those that are making these. If you only use the freebies, then for every post you make, then you will get 1 entry. So if you post throughout the month 4 times, say you decide to make 4 of these and you post 4 times, then you get 4 entries. If you use the freebies and perhaps elements from the kit as well, or you just use the kit to make the same kind of idea, then you will get 2 entries for each post that you make. Even if you don't make these, but you use the freebies to perhaps make something else, you still get an entry. And of course, if you make something with the 2 paid kits, then again, you get 2 entries. Just make sure that you're using that hashtag, just because it makes it easier for me to find all of the different posts and then to tally up all of the names and the entries that you have. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this challenge and making your matchbook notebooks. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.